All right, guys, you're going to enjoy this one. Got another 9-ball league match, and you're going to start to see the work that I've been putting in really coming into the game. You're going to really start to see the benefits of that work. So I'm playing against a guy that I played just once before this league night. Close lag, so we're looking at it. I end up saying that he got it, I think. So he gets the first break. I had played against him once before. He's a skill level 6. So in the handicap format, he's got to go to 46, and I have to go to 65 based on being an 8. Um, but he told me after the match that this match was a surprise for him. He didn't expect to be playing somebody else. He thought he was going to have a makeup match and that it was going to be a pretty simple night. And then he came into his team and they said, "Hey, surprise, you're playing an 8." And he was like, "Oh, geez, here we go." And I've been feeling pretty good in my game recently, so let's see what we can make of this. Right off the bat, some interesting stuff here. So 2 to the 8 lines up pretty well. Shape is not guaranteed. You can't come full enough into the 1 to just drift back across, which would be ideal. Trying to play the long cut could work, but I end up going for the thin window here. Check this one out. Just glide past the 7. Good spin. Do the YouTube stuff. Thanks for being here. Hit that subscribe button. Helps a lot. Seen a lot of growth here recently, so the more we go, the more people see it, the more we can get us in here and learn about the mental game. So I just line up on the combo here. I don't want to move the 2-ball too much because we want to be able to get to the 3 easily after this 8 goes down. Let's remember my score. It's going to be a challenge. I'm going to do my best, like I said with that last one. But the commentary and the scorekeeping in real time is still new for me. Bit of a stretch to get on the 2-ball here. Comfortable with the extension, so I just grabbed for that. And you're going low outside. You just want to make sure to get down below the 3. Some sort of line that drives you towards the 4. I decided to stay above the side pocket, which is fine. A little bit more of an angle than I needed. So instead of being able to simply come between the 3 and the 7, the angle's a little too extreme. Probably could have played into the 7-ball here, but using that as a stopper, it would end up taking a lot of the energy of the cue ball. You're not guaranteed to get a look at the 4. So I try to just glide through them, make sure that I get a good look at the 4, whether it's offense or defense. So I make sure to get past the 7. 6 was the stopper there. And I've got enough of the 4 to make it. Looking back on this was kind of interesting. I certainly could have made the 4 and played into the 7 here, but I decided to go for a safe. And sometimes I'll do this. I've mentioned this in other videos too. I'll go for safety shots early in the game, stick them on the 7. It's nicely played. You didn't like that one. um, we were joking about that one a little bit. But sometimes early in a match, I'll go for a safety, even if I have an offensive play, getting a feel for the table. Maybe play with my opponent's rhythm a little bit, see where they're at, get a good judge of their kick game. So I'm challenging him to make a good hit on the 4-ball here. And even if he makes a good hit, there's no guarantee you're making it. We're going back safe. I put him in a pretty tough spot. 2 rail might be on here. The kick this way. The 1 rail's tight because you have to go past the 6. You'd have to tighten that up with spin and speed. Yeah, he was looking at the 2 rail. I like that. A bit of running English here to try to open up the angle a little bit. Pretty close. All right, so successful safety play there. A follow shot here down to the 5. You'll notice my pace. It's something I've been working on a lot lately. I'm not taking a lot of time between shots. I'm kind of trusting my automatic process, trusting my knowledge of the game. I think especially for a lot of you who have been playing for a long time, you know these shots, right? You know what to do, you know kind of how to get to the next ball. Don't give yourself too much time to overthink it. So hit that one bad. I think I took position for granted there. Might have changed my stroke from what I was just saying, which you kind of know how to get to that next ball. So no good offensive play here. You could kind of consider coming off this side of the 7, send the cue ball long, but nothing guaranteed, and you're sending the 7 out into open table towards a pocket. Trying to shoot straight at the 7 ball here, it's touchy, and you're, maybe try to drive it to the rail or something, so I opt for just a very thin cut off the 7 and drift it over to this rail. Just barely gets the rail. We did look at it, and it got frozen there. I could have given that one a little bit more for sure. So even ending up in here would have been nice. Send him into the pocket. And I put him in a pretty bad spot. Some players might try the cross-side bank, but it's risky. If you miss, you're likely to sell out. I think in this position, I might be tempted to play off the right side of the 7, send the cue ball down here, and the 7 comes back this way. Hard to control. Difficult speed for sure. So another good safety play, even though he's got full access to the 7 ball. Nothing easy. Yeah, this is tough. I think we've all been in this situation, right? Your mind's racing, you keep going back and forth between different options. You can get locked up there, and the more time you spend up there, the worse your rhythm gets. And it throws you off. I don't remember what he does here, so let's find out. He's got some kind of plan, obviously. I think he went offensive. I think he tried to make the 7 in the side, and it was pretty close. I mean, he caught that lower point. So he puts me in a touchy spot on a table that rolls well. I might be tempted to thin the 7 and send it behind the 9 and get the cue ball back up table. Still touchy. This shot, by the way, I've looked back on this a number of times, had some comments which were really good, just keeping me honest here. So I looked at it when I was at the table, and I felt like I could carom off the 7 or get kind of kissed off the 7 into the 9 and back cut the 9. We'll see how it ends up here. Yeah, so at the table, I felt like that was a good hit. Cut the rack just for the sake of time. I'm going to pause it just to talk about the shot, though. So if you go back, feel free to go back. You can see, especially in slow motion, so by pausing it and then hitting period and comma, we'll go frame by frame, you can clearly see that it cuts the 9. And I'm just basically slopping in the 9, which is a foul. So at the table, I felt like it was a good hit. I felt like I hit the 7 ball first, and I just saw it wrong. It was just a mistake on my part. He and I talked about it, and he checked with me to see if I felt like it was a good hit, and I thought it was, so I said yes. But I think if your opponent is questioning it, there's that level of sportsmanship and respect and ownership to where, I should have just turned it over. I should have just been like, I thought it was good. If there's a question about it with shots like that, if they're ever questionable, have somebody watch it, of course. But in this case, I should have turned it over. That was definitely a foul, and I just saw it wrong in the table. So I just want to own that part. It was silly. Should not have gone down that way, and should definitely have turned that over for him. So let's see. 2 balls on the break. Got a decent look at the 1 ball. Thin cut into the 1. You don't really want to spin this too much because the cue ball's naturally going to want to dive into the rail and come through, back into the 5. If anything, maybe a bit of high right to let it dive and get down below the 5. I think what I do here is just ensure that I make the 1. Play it thick into the rail. So played the 1 thick into the rail and came off the top side of the 5. Sends me towards the 2 ball. I don't have a clean cut on the 2 ball to send it down the rail. The 4 ball's down here, by the way, so that's my shape. So I look at the cut, but I don't like it. It's a little too dangerous here. I do end up going for the cross corner bank, and I know that shape off the 2, I'm kind of just using a draw stroke. Nice. Got down the rail, and you see it settle, see the cue ball settle into the pocket a little bit. I did not quite get knuckled in the pocket. I do have a look at the 4. I don't have enough of the 4 to cut it cleanly past the 9. But good shape, right? Good hit on the 2 ball. Let's mark my 2 ball. Puts me up to 13. So I go safe on the 4 ball. Nice, well played there. So thick into the 4. Move the 4, spread out the 6-9 a little bit. I'm leaving him tough. I'm not going unnecessarily offensive except for the silly 7-9 foul shot thing. So he's got a tough hit. Don't think the 1 rail's available to him. He's got a 2 rail, which is thin past the 9. My system for that works pretty well. So you're finding the middle point of this line, measure that to the pocket, and then parallel shift over to the cue ball. And that line from the cue ball to the rail usually takes you to the object. If y'all want a video on that, let me know. I can throw something up. It's a really simple system. It feels silly that it's so simple, but it's very reliable. Once you learn how to measure that manually at the table, you can start to do it a little bit more based on feel, just eyeballing it. I still measure it because I'm not fully used to it yet, but it's a really, really great 2 rail kick system. And in a situation like this, you need something like that. The 1 rail's hard to judge. This is missable. Oh, he played it well, though. He got a good hit. Nice. Unfortunate roll. He got a really good hit on that. Yeah, well judged 1 rail kick. How often does that happen, though? You get yourself out of a safe and then you sell out a shot. I stunned a little bit off that 4 ball. Getting straight on the 5 would have been nice because I want to be straight on the 6. I don't remember if I try to hold this or if I go around. Just use the big pocket and hold it. Yeah, don't miss the ball though, man. That's a good habit, standing up. I think I was aiming to miss. I decided to play into the 6. Didn't get the right bump on it though. I needed to bump the bottom side of the 6 to make sure that I had a good line on it. I'm just all attack. I'm gonna bank this ball, watch. Goes in. Good shape. Get pretty much straight on the 7. I attacked that 6 ball because I know that shot. I know that bank. I also know that coming off the bank shot like that is going to take you towards that next ball. So this one's a little weird. I'm basically completely straight on the 7. So I have to fabricate a little bit of an angle, cheating the pocket, and I'm going to dig down into it for draw to just sort of punch draw and get back down table. Yeah. So shooting the 7 into this side of the pocket, the cue ball takes off this way. That's about as good as I could have gotten. Pretty straightforward cut on this 9 ball. Just stay still. 2 points for the 9 ball. And that second rack goes to me, so it puts me up to 19. Bunch of stuff goes in. Bunch of stuff goes in. But I scratched, didn't I? Yep. All right, they're all dead. So three balls winning off the break. I scratched, so none of them count. And I give him ball in hand. So here's his chance to string some shots together. The 4 to the 5 is a little tough. The 2 naturally takes you towards the 4. You don't have to worry about that too much. But you have to pick a good line on the 4. We'll see how he negotiates this one. I like to use this left rail to open up the line towards the 4. So like bouncing off the rail and then coming into the line of the shot behind the 4. Got a little more out of that than he wanted. He's on the short side of the 4. But if the 4 goes, which it might, the cue ball can come down into this rail and you can follow through for the 5 and get back down table. He got that 2 ball. He was trying to get too much out of the 4. I know we've all had those nights where it just feels like everything is working against you. Pool gods have forsaken you, right? It's tough, man. It's really tough being on the receiving end of those nights, and I've certainly had them. Even in this league, as a matter of fact, the losses that I've had this season were against some solid players. I mean, if you guys saw my other streamed match against Sean, we both had kind of a rough night, but he just edged me out. And then the other loss that I had was very similar. I had a really, really rough night. Had all sorts of crazy bad rolls, couldn't get the break to work for me, blah, blah, blah. You just complain about things, right? It's really hard to get your head back in the game when you feel like nothing's working out. So it was a good shot on the 4. I thought I would be able to get a bit more position-wise out of that. Still a makeable cut, so just stay low and stay still. Cue ball naturally comes towards the 7. So that's just speed control at that point. That's well played. Good line on the 7. And you can punch across if you want. You could follow through and get down below the 8. I usually like coming back around and get below the 8. Yeah, because this line gets you back down towards the 9. Bit of a punch draw here. Use this rail and this rail. Takes you back down towards it. That works. Don't scratch on the break, man. Pretty good cue ball. Still pulling off on the right side. Did I get one? I did. So just the 7 ball went that time. But nothing lines up on the 1 ball. Nothing playable on the 9. You could come thin off the right side and try to go down table. I end up opting for the left side here. You guys are going to like this one. Check this out. Thin off the 1 and slide it between the 2 and the 8 to just use that wall of balls. Don't freeze them to anything, but just float down. Good split on the 1-9. Lock him up down there. So he doesn't have anything available on this side, and there's no 1 rail this way. So the 1 rail long ways, actually, I mean past the 3, obviously. Got to go this way. Open it up with some speed and spin. He sees this right away. A little bit of spin to open it up. Good hit, man. Really, really good escape. Just like the previous rack, though, he makes a great hit from a defense and then leaves me an open shot. On the receiving end, that would feel like a bad roll. This is not quite ball in hand situation for me, but good line on the 1, 2, guaranteed shape on the 2. 2 to the 3. You might be tempted to kind of draw back out. You can roll through, try to get past the 5 and the 6. You just want to make sure you choose your pocket for the 3. This is one where you have a bunch of options. So I end up coming full into the 2 and try to draw back to where my hand is now and curve up table. I wanted this pocket. So I got okay on it. Like overhit that a little bit. Sort of a thin back cut on the 3 into the corner. Sort of a blind shot. You don't really see the pocket when you're down on it. Those are always challenging. And you want to control your speed. You don't want to get hooked on the 4. Or you can just cross corner bank it. I forgot I did that. Good shape on the 4. Keeps you right there. So I'm seeing these cross corner banks in this match. I remember this point in the match and definitely took this particular shot for granted. You really want to stay down on this one. Overhit it. Silly. I got really good on the 5. There it is again. I missed the ball, but I got my shape. Yeah, I took that ball for granted. And here's another example where he's going to feel like, okay, he missed, but what did he leave me? Not much. When you come back to the table that way, trying to settle into your own game and treat every shot at the table like a good opportunity and not like here's my chance to win, I have to win, I need to start making balls type of thing, but settling back into what you know how to do. So approaching this shot, imagining it going well, visualizing it, how's it going to feel, how's it going to sound, that type of stuff. Let's see what he goes for if he stays offensive. He goes defense, and he tries to put me back down behind the 8 and the 9. He does sell out the 4 ball, though, and that's, again, going to feel like a bad roll, where he puts me down there really well. I'm long and straight in. I had to cut some interruption there in the footage. I'm long and straight in on the 4. And I just shoot it into the rail, which is silly. Tables are turning, right? It's my turn to sell out a shot. I don't usually miss those long straight balls. I like to hit those with authority, but I think this time I just played it too big and just too confident. But after that one, I start to tighten it up a little bit. He's got cut on this 4. He'll have to spin it a little bit. That's nicely played to get down on the 5. Good one. Got a little bit of work to do to get from the 5 to the 6. Oh, hooks himself behind the 8. Man. And he was just going for the hit on that one, but didn't stay down at all. It's got the give up stroke coming for him that time. The give up stroke. You hate to see it, you know, as a fellow player, but as an opponent, it kind of gasses you up, right? So I've got ball in hand here. You can just sort of punch over to the other side of the table. You can float down. I underplayed that. Seriously underplayed that one. I got touchy about it. I was scared of getting blocked on the 9 ball or something. I don't know. Just a bad decision. Didn't play it well. So this one is a thin cut. You can let your stroke out on this one, but it seems like you never hit it hard enough to get back down for the 9. Oh, got that 8 ball down. Silly. Kind of weird on the short side of the 9. You could look at banking it back down. You can come back down here. I think I naturally line it up for this pocket. The expectation that if I miss, it's not going to hang it necessarily. Played it with good speed. Didn't miss it by too much, but sell it out over the side pocket. So this one's a gimme, but I think the way he's been shooting tonight, he's going to take his time and make sure that he puts this ball down. All right, there's 2 for him. Back on the table, breaking. 2 on the break. Yeah. Those points, they add up quick, you know, in the handicap format. You don't need to go to as many balls. You're going to feel that pretty quick. He's got to look at the 1, but again, nothing easy. You'd be tempted to try to use outside English to curve it back down and get towards the 2. Any sort of running English or even just a high ball, the cue ball's going to dive into the rail and want to go back down towards us. And he's shooting off the rail, which we know is awkward cueing and has a tendency to make you shoot down on the cue ball. So we can pocket this 1, but he's got to think about how to get a look at the 2 after. Nice. 1 cooperates. Gets behind the 8. Another bad roll. They are just stacking up. I think he has an edge on the 2. If I remember correctly, he can play off the right edge of the 2 ball here. Not that it avails him much. You can slide off the 2. What are you going to do, right? Like slide under the 9 ball? Try to let out the stroke and go around? I mean, yeah, tough spot. Gotta take that edge though, you know, you don't want to risk kicking into it to get a better safe outcome. Go for the back cut? I don't remember what he does. Comes into it pretty full. Sends the 2 ball around. You put it in a tough position. So this ball was not frozen. And either way, you could play a double kiss if you want. And I go safe here. I'm thinking about just sending the cue ball down table. 2 goes into the rail. I think I end up going for the double kiss here. I don't remember. But create some distance and get the 2 off the rail. Don't sell out a shot. Yeah, that works. He's got a shot. It's not an easy one. This one is makeable, whereas the ball that we saw earlier in the match, I think it was the 2 ball actually, did not have enough of the edge of the pocket to make it. This one could go, especially because you're a little fuller on the 2 ball from down table. But it's risky. A lot of players might shy away from this. But cut this thin with a high ball, the cue ball dives into the rail. You either catch the point or you get the rail. And you could theoretically shape the 3 if you hit it good. I think he tried it. Here's a roll again. Great effort, and you sell out the 2. A weird game, guys. Stuff like that happens all the time. And we gotta capitalize here, right? 2 naturally takes you down for the 3. You see my pace. I'm settled in. Easy roll on the 2. Maybe a bit less angle on the 3 than I wanted, but you can still punch into this rail and get back down. Yeah, high ball to drive through it. Oh no, I just played below the 5. Safer, simpler. I'm getting fancy here in the commentator's box. The guy at the table knows what he's doing. Run this down the rail. Let me get that point for myself. Pull that down the rail. Take advantage of the big pocket. Didn't need to get that much out of it. Back cut on the 6. Here's a chance to redeem myself from that silly 4-ball miss earlier. But we know how to hit these. Low outside. Spin the cue ball back up. That's better. I was playing for here to get the 8 in the side pocket. We've got a good line on the 8 to punch over and naturally shape the 9. Good shape. We like to be straight in on the 9. Oop, that's 2 points for the 9. Breaking again. Good break that time. Still losing the cue ball, though, over the left side of the table. Nothing drop? He's got a thin back cut on the 1. The 1 does go. If I'm him, I don't know, guys. Do you go for that? You take that cut, send the cue ball down. You're going to get a look at the 2 if you make that ball. There's not a super easy safe beyond just coming off the 1 and getting behind the 7. Just go for this, right? Oh. Ugh. We all know how it feels. It's so bad. I think he was going for it. It's hard to tell. a miscue and then a scratch. I don't know what Bill did to anger the pool gods, but man. So, good layout. Meanwhile, I have a good layout. Ball in hand. Punch over for the 2. Play a bit of a snip draw to get back on the 3. Okay. Ended up with a little cut on the 2 ball. The 2 ball goes, and just a high ball to drive through. This is your window for the 3. Theoretically, you could play into the 7 to stop on the 7. Oh. So I got behind the 7. Needed a bit more inside or a little less speed, but my turn to catch a bad roll. Does very little to balance out the scales, though, based on how this has been going for my man Bill so far. I look at the 1 rail kick here. I didn't like the masse. I had enough room to shoot around the 7 to curve into the 3. Looking at it on the screen right now, it feels like that's the way to hit it, but at the table it must have felt different. I look at the 1 rail and I know how to hit these. But I think I misjudged the speed on this one a little bit. Let's take a look. Just slightly. Hit it a little too firm. All right. Gets ball in hand. Let's see if he can put some together. Three's got a bunch of pockets. Certainly goes in the side. I might be tempted to play it in the corner and just stop it. Although, you want to get down below the 4, right? To come back up for the 5 in the side or the 5-7 combo. So I'd be tempted to play something that leaves me down here. Yeah, 3's got a lot of options. Goes the side, which works. And again, ideally you want to get down below this line on the 4 so the cue ball comes back up table. You don't want to mess with the 8 ball. Okay. He's straight enough on the 4 that he can get away from the 8. But still nothing easy here. High inside, it looks like. High left. Goes into the 8. Spins back around. He's okay. Yeah, I think he wanted to be up here, which was what I was thinking. You want to play the 5 in the side. You don't want to have to contend with this combo. 7 goes. The 5's going into the 7 in such a way that it's going to send the 5 over to this rail. You have to think about that and try to control the cue ball so that you're going to have a shot on the 5 after you make the 7. So I would just kind of a snip draw. Looks like he's going center ball, maybe even high. So overcut the 7. I've got to look at the 5. Good access to the 5. It cuts in the side, but then it's going to send the cue ball back this way or into the 7. Don't like that. 6 is frozen on the rail down here. So I know that my window for the 6 is this area of the table. To be able to cut that in. I'm full enough on the 5 that the bank is available. So I opt for the bank. I tighten it up with speed, and I use draw to pull the cue ball off the 5 and get my cut line on the 6. Nice. Yeah, full into the 5 to be able to draw almost straight back. And this one, you're just kind of spinning through the 6. You can use inside for that spin. Not necessary, but Certainly helps. You go rail first with some spin. You want to make sure you get around the 8. Looks like I'm powering up here, though. I want to ease up on that stroke. I just went for it. Okay, because I knew it was playing into the 7. That works out. Still overplayed that. Didn't need to bump the 7 that much, but we're okay. 7 banks and the 7 cuts. I like the cut. Just take it really thin. Cue ball comes back out and around. We've seen this shot, what, 3 times recently in recent matches? It's exact shot. Good speed. Good line on the 8. So we know what the 8 ball looks like. Pick your window. I want this for the 9. Good. Stand back up. Readdress. Good one. Right to our window. On the rail, but big deal. Just bear down on this. Stay still. Yeah, I didn't like it. Queuing off the rail. I think some people were walking by too. I remember that. There was a bunch of foot traffic right in my shot line. Take that one. Lost the cue ball there. There's a 9 on the snap, though. Hey, that's the name of the channel. Let me pause it and count my points. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the table. So 1 regular ball and the 9 ball for 2 points. That should be right. Break. Lost the cue ball and scratch. What a game. I was joking around. Somebody on the other team, I don't know if it was their captain or not, but somebody was like, hey, like throw us a bone every once in a while. Why don't you like start scratching or something? I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I will. And then just as she said that, I scratch on the break. And I was like, there you go. Like, you called it. Definitely a little bit of banter between shots or between racks, but I never talk while my opponent is down on the shot. Or even really at the table. Make an effort to avoid that. Meanwhile, our friend Bill has ball in hand, and he should be able to get a look at the 2. The 6-8 is a little weird. 1 cooperates. Got to look at the 2. Might have to go into that short rail to get back on the 3. He's got to put a run together here. Yeah, short rail. That's well played. Might have used a bit of outside unless the table's rolling weird. Because it sort of rolled off on him. You would expect that would come straight through or even inside. So he's got a good line on the 3. Doesn't have to do much. He can just cut it and speed control and he'll end up in his window. Oh, yeah, he bumped the 8. Moved it back. That's an APA thing. You have to move it back. The opponent can't decide to leave it where it was. He felt like he was going to get hooked here. But he made that 3 and he's got full access to the 4. 4 to the 5 might be a little touchy. I would get down on this 4 ball and just draw back past the 7. But not everybody's confident with that draw stroke. Let's see how he negotiates this. Powers it in. Center pocket. Not much draw. I think he might have been going for draw. But he's got a good look at the 5. He can cut this in. I've seen Bill make these. And cut. Position's guaranteed. Nice. Cue ball gets away from him a little bit. It does appear that the combo's wired. If the 8 goes, it's going into that point. And using the 6 means that it's going to send it down table if you hit it right. I'm not sure how he decides to hit this ball. Let's see what he does. So you could roll through and try to dress up the 6 for the corner, or you could sort of pull away from the 6 with draw and let the 6 roll through. Looks like he's queuing low. Can't tell if he's using any spin. Oh, so yeah. He rolled through it, so the 8's dead because he's scratched. Yeah, he rolled through that one. Combo was lined up. All right, little 3-ball out to get some points back. You can go behind the 6 and play the 7 here and draw back up for the 9. Behind the 6 and get down for the 7. You want to be below the 7 so that when you're playing it, you get back above the 9. Pardon all my lines. So that was the intention, was to get here. Down below the 7. Good stroke. Did not get there. So, do you just float it down here? Get down below the 9? We've seen me miss those. Shooting past the side pocket is risky. You could try to just come around. Oh, and I get super close to it too. So 9 was just slightly off the rail, I believe. Very close to it. Oh, did I give myself a point for that 7 ball? I don't know. Maybe. I just poke at that one. It's silly. Missed that ball. Giving up 2 points. Bill puts this one away. Just got bad shape on the 9. Didn't deserve to make it. Gets that one. And breaking. So there's a bunch. Couple balls on the break. And he's got full access to the 1, but no great options for it. It goes in the side. If you were feeling really good, you could play the 1 in the side and pull off it a bit with draw. Stay below the 8, and you should get shape on the 2. That might be how I would play it. You could also play into the 8, I suppose. Maybe we go safe here. We bank the 1. What's Bill gonna do? Shot it in the side. Nice. He's okay on the 2. Did not get up as high as he needed to. Again, do you go offense or defense here? The back cut is pretty extreme. And you're turning your cue ball loose. Tough one. You could try the bank, 2-ball back into the 5. Bit of a 2-way maybe, sending the cue ball around. 2-ball goes in off the 5 potentially, and then you get yourself on the 3. You might just go safe. I would probably go safe. He's cutting it. Let's see if he tries to make it or if he's just going safe. Banked it. And it doesn't go. I remember this situation. He almost kissed it in. No, they're not rolling for him like that tonight. Keep your eyes on the 2 ball here. Watch this as I get down on the shot. It's hard to see, so you might have to rewind it, but I'm looking at the 2, getting back around for the 3. You can jack up on this, kind of jab down on the 2, draw it back out up here. Hard to control, but there's a pretty wide area where you're going to be okay. Trying to spin through is touchy because of the 5 ball. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Easy to underhit that one. Yeah, watch the 2 ball. Oop. You see it? So it just settled a little bit. Somehow, me approaching the shot and putting my hand down caused the 2 ball to just roll into a little divot in the felt. Now it's a slightly different shot. It's still essentially the same thing. So I'm trying to roll through and get back up for the 3. Successfully get around the 5, but as I said, easy to underhit that one. Oh, and we flirt with the side pocket. How did that not go in? I don't know if I'm knuckled here. I don't think so. I don't have full access to the 3. I don't think I can get to the left side of the 3 as we're looking at it. But from here, I think you probably just go thin off the 3 and go back down. Look at the bank. I was banking a lot tonight, but yeah, I'm entertaining the long bank on the 3. Because if you stop it right there, you can get shape on the 4 on the side. I go safe, don't I? Didn't work out great. I think I was trying to go thinner off the 3 and get him back down table, but hit it too full. So he's got a thin cut on the 3. Bank's there, but I think I'd rather shoot the 3. We've seen him make some pretty good thin cuts. We know he can do it. Does it cooperate for him? That's the question. Cuts it. And it doesn't go. Oh. Yeah, slightly overcut it based on how it rolled. Could have been a table roll too. Always some funky stuff here, but lets me back on the table, and I'm closing in on my total. So I roll back around, and I want the 4 on the side. 4 takes you right to the 5. Use rail first to open that up a little bit. Go thin off the 4 like this. You can get down on the 5. Just don't, yeah, you don't want to hit too much of the 4. You could spin around the 5 too if you wanted to get cute, but no need to do that really. I stayed on the inside of the 5, so we're still okay. Low outside here, low right hand spin takes you that way, and back up above the 8. Smooth, soft touch here. Spin tightens up that angle, really takes off the second rail. Another point. And this slight cut on the 8 takes you right towards the 9. Nothing fancy. Came pretty full into it. Dragged its feet on the way in. Not a clean shot, but it'll do. More for the 9 ball. A lot of movement on that break. Didn't make anything. And he's got full access to the 1, but nowhere to go with it. Doesn't that figure? Yeah, try to go safe here, but nothing easy. Thin off the left side of the 1. Try to get me behind the 3. Maybe just send the 1 ball down table under the 2 or towards the 7. Doesn't go in the side by the 7, I don't think. Oh, maybe it does. Yeah, it might go from here. Is he attacking? Went for it. And scratches. Oh, what a night. Make a great shot and get punished that way. Jeez. So just a bit of a drift out from the 2 ball to get on the 3. And then we'll spin around for the 4. Good. I didn't leave myself over the 8, which is nice. Yeah, kind of picking my window. Let's see how I do. I want to be here on the 4. I'm always curious to see in the videos how my guessing at the table, my estimations at the table actually work out. It's a 3. Got in the window. Now the 4 to the 5 is not easy. You can roll through, kind of force follow, or draw if you tighten this up. Play it pretty full into the pocket. Draw this way. Yeah, I'm going to draw. I like these. These are exciting. Kind of power up. Crazy spin on that one. 4 ball down. Realizing I missed a ball at some point. I remember how the rest of the rack goes, so bear with me here. This 5 is very makeable. There's not going to be great position off the 6. Hard to tell if the 6 will actually cooperate and go off the 7. You get above it. So I was sort of in between here. Do I just make the 5 and take whatever I get on the 6? Or do I go safe on the 5? Try to get him behind the 8. Does not work out. Give him full access to the 5. For him, the 5 cuts, but you're sending the cue ball thin around the table, and the scratch is on depending on how you hit it. You could certainly scratch. I like the safety here, so you just sort of snip the 5 and hide the cue ball behind the 8 and the 7. It's a tough spot. I think he probably knew where I was closing in on my needed points to win. Gotta go safe here, right? Well, he's going on the back side of it. Yeah, he doesn't like that. He doesn't want to have to go safe here, you can tell. Just too much that can go wrong if you play offensive. So he's going safe. He wants to hide me behind the 7. Perfect speed. Got me right on the 7. And the 5 goes... Can you believe this? These rolls are so bad for Bill. We could not believe it. Both of us just looked at it, and he was like, wow, that, he was upset, but it's like, that figures. There's your give up stroke again. At this point, I only needed 2 balls, so I must have missed another one at some point somewhere. Can you believe that defensive shot? Amazing cue ball control to get me behind the 6 or behind the 7, and then the 5 goes. So nothing crazy here. You just pop in the 6 and the 7. Needed the 2 balls, which I did not know when I was at the table. But I would have played it the same way regardless. And there goes the 7. So finished out the match. Shake hands. Tough night. I mean, like I said, you hate to see it. You kind of love to see it. It's good for my rhythm. It's good for my confidence. But man, he was struggling. And we've all been there. We all know what that feels like. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's good good league match stuff. I am working hard to get my handicap up. I want to see that level 9. And it'll help me get my money's worth right off to make more balls when I go out to play. And we're also gunning for MVP. Really cool to qualify for that and get out for that tournament to see if we can go back to back there. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. And we've got more content coming up, more Masters matches this next weekend. So look forward to that in the next month. And we'll see you again for break video, jump video, book reviews, lots coming down the pipeline.